Welcome back to Strathroy Rockets hockey here on myFM. First intermission, London leads Strathroy here in Game 2 by a score of 2-1, joined by Rockets GM Dan Gibson. First of all, your thoughts on that opening 20?
We had a real good start, and then we got into a little bit of penalty trouble, and you know that against these guys, you definitely don't want to do that. They've got a very strong power play, and it's evident on the scoreboard what happens when you take penalties.
5-2 loss in Game 1, coming off a triple overtime elimination game against Sarnia. You have had a lot of coaching in your resume. The boys look tired. How do you regroup a team after a triple overtime? Tell us about your thoughts on Game 1.
Yeah, Game 1, you're right. You know, I guess you call it the triple overtime series winning hangover. It's very similar to that. It's the guys go in and they just they're not 100% thinking about the task at hand when you get into those type of situations. You're still remembering a little bit the excitement from when you won, as well as eliminating the other team and the experience of playing in a triple overtime, and that stuff all sits in your mind, and you really have to do a good job as a person to get that out of there, because it is exciting and it's something that you want to talk about, something you want people to know about, but at the same time, when you're still moving forward and you got another series to play, you got to put it behind you. You're
the 7th seed. You're in the West Final of the Greater Ontario Junior Hockey League. Could you have told me at the start of the year when we sat down for our very first interview, because we never talked about this, you did know you were going to have a young team, you had a lot of veteran players leave in the offseason. Your thoughts on being here in the West Final?
It's obviously exciting, Chris. You know, we got a young, energetic hockey club, and that's part of the reason that we're here. We chose the young players, we chose the physical, aggressive style players for the purpose of having a team that nobody wants to play versus the team that everybody's looking forward to play. And you know, we talked about that at the start of the year, that you know our goal was to try and end the season on a high with a team going into the playoffs that people are looking behind them going, geez, I really don't want to play these guys. And you know what, and that's where we were at the end of the season, the regular season, and moving into the playoffs. We had teams saying, like Leamington, you know, winning 5-1 on them over the regular season, saying, I don't want to play Strathroy. You know, their comment in the paper was it's the worst opponent we could have ended up with. And, you know, we're same thing in Sarnia. Yeah, they beat us 6 times during the regular season, but right away from Game 1, they knew what the situation was. And that's the kind of team that we went after. And the coaches obviously have got them playing the style of game that these kids are geared towards, and they're doing a good job at it.
Would you base it strictly on personnel or compare this year's postseason team to teams of the past few years? Is there something from this hockey club?
I think it's just the fact that these kids, they're not as skilled as teams have had in the past, and their game is grinded out. Work as hard as you can every single time you're on the ice, and do whatever you can. You might not be the guy that makes 3 or 4 moves to score that fancy goal, but you might be the guy that throws the big hit in the corner, that chips the puck behind, that gets it out front, and then somebody scores a garbage goal, as they call them, in front of the net. And that's the kind of players we have. We've got some guys that have some skill, but they're also playing with some grit, and I think that's maybe where we lacked a little bit in the past.
I do appreciate your time, as always. I caught you on the way to, you had a mission in the intermission, so we'll let you get to it. We'll cut it short a little bit. Thank you for this, and we'll talk a little later on in the series.
Thanks a lot, Chris.
GM of the Strathroy Rockets, Dan Gibson. When we come back, our period summary and our out-of-town scoreboard. You listen to Strathroy Rockets Hockey live on 105.7 myFM.